Welcome to this space. This week's episode, Tending the Sacred Wound, reclaiming the rage and grief of Black and Brown women and BIPOC healers. Yeah, because the fact of the matter is, our woundedness, the wounds that we carry, they are absolutely sacred. They've called us too loud, too angry, too grieving, too much. But what if we're exactly the medicine this world needs? This episode reclaims emotion that has long been dismissed as pathology. I explore how rage and grief in BIPOC women are political, ancestral, and sacred. I break down how brain spotting helps reclaim these states as wisdom, not dysfunction. This is Beyond the Spot, and I am your host, Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, licensed professional counselor and brain spotting trainer. In this episode, we reclaim what has been pathologized, our rage, our grief, our voice, and we do it with our bodies, not just our words. Welcome to today's episode. I am absolutely excited you are here. And let me say this for the record. Yes, I am on one this week. The first BIPOC Brain Spotting Intensive ended this past Friday in this space. So you need to know there is a sweet aroma of healing. And it is as though I'm lying on the pillow of the remnant, of the energy, of the spirit, and even the woundedness of the BIPOC participants who joined me in this space at my office as we sit on the Muskogee and Cherokee Native American lands. It was nothing short of sacred. And we acknowledge our wounds collectively. And so I'm excited to be here, notwithstanding that tending the sacred wound is actually our podcast series this week. Thank you for being here. Beyond the Spot, Decolonizing Healing One Brain at a Time, is a podcast that weaves, my first love, of course, brain spotting, and somatic informed modalities with embodied healing, cultural consciousness, and real talk about trauma, resilience, and recovery. Hosted by Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, a licensed professional counselor, spiritual healer, and the first Black female brain spotting trainer in the world. Each episode dares to dismantle mental health myths, uplift lived experiences, and restore collective wisdom. One conversation at a time. Beyond the Spot podcast is for educational purposes and is not therapy. Please reach out to licensed medical and mental health professionals. Thank you. There is absolutely nothing, how would I say, coincidental that this week on the podcast that I would be exploring this idea of the sacredness and tending the sacred wound, reclaiming the rage and grief of Black and Brown women and BIPOC healers. This is no mistake. This is all divine, right? Because one of the things about the idea of woundedness, wounds, the idea of us collectively, individually, personally, professionally, being that medicine, that clients come in to sit with us, be with us, join us in the things that we provide, the offerings and all the things. It's important for me to name the silence, the stereotypes, the tropes, the angry Black woman. How about the spicy Latina? And even the stoic native. These aren't personalities, they're strategies and tools of suppression. Yeah, that many of us have made the attempt to reclaim, to reframe them as endearing. But the fact of the matter is simply this: BIPOC emotions are not disordered, they've been disrespected. Our feelings are not dysfunction, they are data. They are absolutely ancestral signals. They are truth. When was the last time you had to tone down your truth to protect someone else's comfort? Because here's the reality: our rage is sacred. We're coming from a place of rage as sacred and grief as wisdom. Rage is not violence, it is clarity. Grief is not and never has it been weakness. It's continuity with our ancestors. Rage says something happened that shouldn't have. Grief says something mattered and was lost. The nervous system, through brain spotting, through somatic, through spiritual work, remembers all of it, not as brokenness, but as brilliance. What message does your rage want you to speak? And I got to tell you, and I continue to go back to that grief circle that we participated with at the BIPOC Brain Spotting Intensive this past week. I was the first to give an offering, to give a sharing. And it was, in fact, ceremonious for me. Yeah, yeah. It really was ceremony because it kind of took me back and allowed me to come forward, even full circle. Yeah. So it's important to tune in, not dismiss or shut down that in which your rage wants you to speak. And the idea here, we're moving towards emotional reclamation. Brain spotting does allow for that. Yeah, because brain spotting allows us to meet our emotions without filtering through logic or politeness. I'm just saying. We don't tame the nervous system. We listen to it as it speaks. We don't suppress the body. We let it lead. That's part of our orientation. And I like to call it brain spotting posturing because although I'm trained as a multimodal, multidisciplined clinician that is licensed, The reality is, even through my time of learning brain spotting, somatic experiencing, internal family systems, and all the things, there was a particular posturing that brain spotting afforded me, right? And let's be clear, when we talk about emotional reclamation, I'm not talking about catharsis. This is about coherence. What is your body ready to let go of, even if the world hasn't said it's time? Yeah, that's an invitation to consider what that looks like, what that feels like in our system. And even as I work towards expanding the healing circle, because I absolutely know folks that I love, they are not black nor brown, but these would be white-bodied co-conspirators. Yeah, it would be the idea of expanding the healing circle, because healing, none of us have a monopoly on grief. None of us have a monopoly on oppression. None of us have a monopoly of pain, on pain. Facts. And so I just want to give invitation to the idea that expanding the healing circle is absolutely beautiful and necessary. And I would like to say, even to our white bodied co conspirators and allies, fact of the matter is, this journey is costly. Yeah, much of what we carry as BIPOC bodied individuals has this nuance of suppressed towards oppression, erasure, denied, right? Hanging out with this notion of inclusivity of healing, inclusivity of access, it's a different spin from the Western cultured normative of individualism, exclusivity, and all the things. You will lose things on this journey. You might lose comfort. You may very well lose praise, and even be at the risk of a loss of community. But what you gain is consistent with integrity, resonance, authenticity. And how about being able to be present in and of the authenticity of your own selves? You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to stay present. What part of your identity are you willing to let die so something more honest, more honorable, more necessary can live? Just a curiosity here, because it's important for us to understand that grief is not pathology, it is testimony. Grief is not dysfunctional, it's devotion. Therapy should be the one place where we don't have to perform and understand that you are not the problem. You are actually the prophecy. You don't owe anyone a palatable version of your pain. Your pain is what it is, and you get to own it and give voice to it unapologetically. Some of us don't cry because we're strong. We cry because we're finally safe, safe enough to experience that release while being witnessed. It is long time for us to recognize that many who come in to see us, it's not about them wanting to regulate. They want to feel. Because the fact of the matter is, the nervous system doesn't lie. That's why healing cannot be polite. Yeah, I want to invite you to sit with that. Yeah, sit with that. Yeah. Oftentimes, yeah, understanding can be a thing, but just recognize and understand for the sake of yourself and for others that people, we're not here to be understood. I know I'm here to be free. If I grieve loudly, it's because my ancestors were silenced. And so much of what we inherited from the ancestors, especially by way of trauma, it has to do with that in which was incomplete for them. The ancestors, we stand on their shoulders, and they absolutely have done more with less, and they want the absolute best for us. Right? And let's be clear, you do not need a diagnosis to deserve support. I think that's a misconception of what our field is as helping professionals. Yeah, that is a linear Western model, this idea of diagnosis or disordered and all those pathological terms that actually push away more so than draw towards the light of healing, right? This is an invitation. Let your rage be a resurrection, not a reason to shrink. It's okay to own it as devotion. And I would like to extend an offering and an invitation, as I do in every recording. What emotions are you afraid to feel because of how others might interpret it? Where in your body have you hidden your story? Who benefits when you keep your feelings small? And what would it mean to grieve without apology? To all of those who carry sacred wounds, to the mothers, the therapists, the survivors, the seekers, the brothers, the fathers. This episode is a place to lay it all down. You don't need to shrink to be safe. You don't need to perform to be worthy. This is Beyond the Spot. I am Tracy Gantlin-Monroy, licensed professional counselor, Brainspotting Trainer. And I believe every feeling you've hidden is a truth still trying to rise. Let's rise together. You in no way have to do this alone. We stand together as community. Thank you for listening. If today's episode resonated with your nervous system or your spirit, share it with someone who's still unlearning and reach out to me. My website is gracecommunitycounseling.com. You can reach me on Instagram at Monroy LPC. That is MONROY LPC. Also, I have offerings from retreats to brain-spotting trainings to workshops, you name it. And I am also a speaker, so if you ever need a speaker with my skill set, look me up, give me a call. Let's see what can happen. And absolutely for you clinicians and adjacent body healers, feel free to reach out and attend a brain spotting training. We have trainings all the time. Thank you.